You can see actually only Showtime and Lucas here for Tempo Storm on the CT side, having gone in for Kevlar. We've got kits and utility for everybody else, and then armor for everyone on the side of SK, Asilian with the nades.
Yeah, he does have himself a Molotov and a HE, so he can just pop that down into the site as soon as the force comes through. Bolt is going to pick up the first frag. That grenade could do so much damage, though, onto the site. Does negligible damage in the end. Well, 1-for-1 trade. Bomb has moved on to the B site. Will get planted momentarily. Bolt's going to try and hold this one off. Couple frags coming for Tempo Storm. And it's all gone horribly wrong for SK Gaming. At least they have got the bomb plant, but that's probably all they're going to get out this round. Unless Asilian can go monumental with this Glock. And it's not going to happen. And the defuse will come in. But with that bomb plant, it gives SK Gaming a couple of options.
Yeah, the bomb plant's always great. That's the thing about Train. We talk about being CT-sided, but it's so easy for the terrorists at any point to just run into the inner bomb site, get the bomb down. And we saw SK, as they started to plant, the other 3-4 people are pushing forward and trying to get control of the back of that inner yard. But it didn't work out because Phelps and Bolts were just hitting those shots. Bolts from the back of the trains. Phelps, I'm not exactly sure where he was, maybe coming through Z connector at that time. But that shut it down, and the retake there was pretty easy. And of course, they had kits. So Tempo Storm 1-0. SK Gaming, as expected, will not be putting anything into this one, just the Glocks and a flash. They do invest that extra $200, which can go a long way. Maybe steal away this FAMAS from Showtime.
Indeed, so that would probably very likely be AKs into the next round, and a pretty solid buy-up at that. So can SK Gaming go ahead and get themselves the second consecutive bomb plant? It looks as though Showtime is waiting for this push, and it should be an absolute slaughter. 3 kills coming down. Actually, Magic's forced to his death. And as expected, with just Glocks and a flash, there's nothing SK Gaming are going to get out of that round.
Wow, man. And that's pretty much... You kind of call those places around the trains here, because they're not very spammable at all, just the God spot. So he's in the God spot with the FAMAS. They have Glocks. It's going to take 3 or 4 shots to the head to even kill him. So Showtime just extremely easy. Don't even know how to spray the FAMAS, because nobody does, but it doesn't matter.
One of those weapons, it's you either love it or you hate it. It's pretty solid for these kind of situations, though. Tempo Storm with 2 of them, also 2 SMGs still in play, MP7 and the UMP. As the charge from Henny is going to come out. We saw Godsend's Pronax do this a lot in Malmö to great effect as well. A little bit predictable, but curious to see if Tempo Storm keep doing this. Henny is going to pick up the first kill, though, with the MP7 partially through the smoke. And look how much damage SK Gaming have already been inflicted upon. They are very low indeed.
Yeah, they've killed Pimp, and they've basically brought those guys into red HP. That's Madi and Magic's boy. And that was the 2 submachine guns keeping all those AKs at bay over there at Ivy. A little bit of utility and smokes, and I think Henny even did get that 1 kill through the smoke. Nade to go in. Man on the pallet, that's Freeze. Now he's taken a lot of damage. Lucas cleans him up with the headshot. He was on top of the green train. So we go back on with Madi. He's got the bomb in the upper white halls there. But SK Gaming 3 versus 5. I mean, almost the best they can hope for now is a bomb plant.
Awesome epic fails from Tempo Storm pushing too aggressively, that they still have 2 incendiaries. They've got 3 flashbangs, more than enough utility to fend off this initial charge. As you say, though, Helium, it looks like SK Gaming are looking to push down onto this B site, but again, there's a double stack from Tempo Storm, and with 35 seconds left to go, SK Gaming are going to have to get a push on. And here comes a flashbang, very nicely placed. That is going to stop Showtime from spraying down the FAMAS. He's going to relocate with a couple flashes of his own, though. And now the tactic has came in. Tempo Storm know exactly what's coming at them. The trades do go actually in the favor of SK Gaming the last couple of seconds, but Lucas from behind should be able to clean up Modi without any issues. He's gone into the smoke, 15 seconds left, and down he goes. Tempo Storm, a solid 3-0 start. SK Gaming back to the drawing board.
Surprised it even went so well for SK getting into that site 3 versus 5. Like you said, the trading went in their favor. Showtime didn't come away with anything. He tried to maneuver around the train and get him as they came through the smoke, but he was immediately spotted. Lucas, of course, was on the flank, and he was going to 100% that round. They had no idea that he was there. So Tempo Storm off to a strong 3-0 start, and still with MP7s on the board, looking to build up that money, which is so important, that economy on the CT side, especially on a map like Train.
Yeah, you're absolutely going to keep those SMGs. They know there's going to be back into an eco with very likely no armor. And Henny again, up on Ivy. Easy frags, 2 for him. Money building up nicely. Tempo Storm looking for another flawless round. It's not going to happen, though. Modi through the smoke is going to pick up the kill onto Bolts, but he gets shut down in the backside from Showtime. As expected, 4-0 for Tempo Storm, but SK Gaming will have another buy now. And a pretty decent one at that, with an AWP.
Yeah, so Henny starts off again with the Ivy aggression. I wonder how long this is going to continue for Tempo Storm. Just if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. Keep pushing Ivy until it doesn't work once on your CT side. But he spots 2 people there, and I think that gave was it Showtime the confidence to push up through the inner halls and come down that ladder very, very quickly. Madi got 1 kill, but immediately the flank was there, 4-0, and now it's Freeze with the op. It is a Safari mesh. You know, you don't want to see that, but we do want to see what Freeze can do with it.
It's going to be a rough ask, though. Going to be trying to peek out Raw, and 2 of his teammates have just gone down, make that a 3rd as well, making a 4th. Phelps with 2.
My goodness.
And Freeze misses his 1 opportunity. Very likely will not get any more from this. Tempo Storm have such a booming economy, though, they can afford to push in and make sure that AWP will not go through to round number 6. Tempo Storm, what a start this has been. They've kept 5 players alive a hatful of times already.
Thought for a second there, Freeze might have got a 2-for-1 as they were jumping in and lining up. I think he did leg the person jumping at him, but it wouldn't have mattered. Even if he did get the 2-for-1, he was left with a 1 versus 5 at that point. His team tries to get out and they just get destroyed.
The other thing is as well, Joey, 2 005s in 5 rounds, yet to pick up a frag, 2 players. And that's Pimp and Freeze. Those are 2 players who are expecting to get themselves quite a few kills, especially right off the bat. So that's a worrying sign for SK Gaming on their choice of map.
Yeah, I mean, I like James Bond, but I don't think you want 2 James Bonds on your team. That is not a good way to start here in Counter-Strike. And SK Gaming, they know they have that loss bonus building up on the T side, so they can invest in a couple nades, but it's really just the Armor Tech 9s. Pimp going for the armor pen there of the UMP, but it's Lucas up at the electrical box, taking him down. All right, Bolts from further away finds 2. Henny hits an op shot onto Magic's boy. Bolts holding off the back of the train. There is Henny over there in Ivy. Pimp is able to find 1. Showtime immediately there on the trade. Freeze left in a 1 versus 2. He's worked around to the back of Green, but he's going to be peeking right into the angle that Henny is holding, and that will be that, the 6-0.
Better round, I guess, in terms of getting a couple of kills down and taking some weapons away from the side of Tempo Storm, but still not good enough. And at some point, SK taking weapons away is just simply not going to be enough. They're going to have to start to build that foundations here early on and train. Sure, 6-0 is not over by any stretch of the imagination on the T side, but if they don't get around soon, this is going to start to get precarious very, very quickly. So another solid buy up as the full round loss bonus has came in. Another AWP for Freeze, did nothing with it last time. Let's see if he can pick up himself a frag this time around, though.
Well, here's Showtime going into the upper box halls, just coming away with the 1, so SK Gaming can be happy about that trade. And real quick, since it was the player matchup, obviously the Oppers, Freeze versus Henny, they haven't had the Ops all that much, but it's worth pointing out that Henny's 6-0 and Freeze is 0-6. So there's your player matchup for you in just the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, so far very one-sided, not just on that matchup, but across the board. And I said before that Henny is an absolute beast, but he needs the rest of his team to step up, and they've done just that thus far. He's had a lot of support. Again, the early trade, you would say 1-for-1 trade probably favors SK Gaming on the terrorist side, especially as they have actually more grenades in their hands, but they haven't been able to do anything with these opening picks. That's the issue. And a solid, very static lockdown from Tempo Storm for now, not moving an inch, watching the angles.
Looks like we might actually get to see a full-fledged execute for SK Gaming. You look at the utility, they've got 3 smokes, plenty of flashes, and the Molotov there on a Cillian, and they're all coming together now in those upper halls. And it won't be the flash to go first. Is that all they're going to throw? Just the 1 flash here? They have a lot of utility, but maybe they will use it on the post plant. The flash to go over, that's lets Freeze take that angle. Bolts, though, on the back of the train, gets Pimp as he's trying to run on the upper catwalk. He finds a Cillian as he goes in past Pop Dog, and Freeze is just missing these shots. Does this op have bullets in it? That was 3 whiffs in a row. You hate to see it, as Magic's boy will try to do something. The young star of this team, maybe someone that will have to step up for them. He finds 2, but it doesn't matter much.
We said this before, though. Freeze is the kind of AWPer that is just going to plod along and get kills. He's not necessarily going to get highlight reel-worthy plays, but he is going to get kills every now and again. But as you say, he missed, what, 3 or 4 shots there, and not particularly difficult ones at that. That is very worrying for SK Gaming, because again, they had the opening pick, they go for the flashbang. The idea there is you're not premeditating anything, you're not telegraphing the charge, you just flash once you push in, you're expecting the smokes to land before the execute comes to fruition. So they got onto the site, but then Bolts with 2 massive kills just keeps them at bay. And I can see another bite comes in, but nowhere near as good as last time, and now Showtime's pushed up aggressively. He is going to get punished this time from Modi. So again, the opening pick, but can SK Gaming finally pull the trigger and get themselves around?
Here's Henny actually missing 1 up shot, and instead it's Freeze that will find his. He was posted up in the T connector last I saw, and he's brought down Phelps. Showtime, of course, fell earlier, so SK Gaming might finally be getting onto the scoreboard here.
You think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
This situation, but Henny's still alive.
Still alive.
and they only have a smoke and 2 flashes to play with. So they're going to have to be pushing in raw. So that is a bit of a sticky situation for SK Gaming, but they have the 2-player advantage. Surely this is their moment to strike. If they let this one slip away, we mentioned before about how some of the heads can go down from SK Gaming. This would be one of those moments. You better believe it. So it's important, not just economically speaking, not just for the rounds, but also confidence-wise, that they get this round under their belt.
And we've seen Bolts multiple times now from the back of this inner sight, just so good. And it looks like he will be surprising Pimp. Yep, Pimp taking a battle with Lucas as he's coming out of Z, and Bolts will clean it up. A good nade to go in. Oof. And that's going to be decent damage onto Asilian and Amadi, who are now pinned on the back of the train. Fire down there too. So they haven't really been able to fall back to the post plants. They did leave 2 in those tunnels. And their freeze will find 1, but Henny immediately on the trade spots one at Pop Dog. He brings down Madi. Now it's into a 2-on-2. Flash and 2 kits. Bolt, while falling with that M4A1S, is going to bring down Asilian, who was on the train, and it's Magic's boy wishing he had a Molotov right now. We see that play so often. Instead, he's got to peek out, and it's the op of Henny that will find him. So SK dropping a 5 versus 3.
You have a candle in chat, please, for SK Gaming. Ripping pepperonis. Like, I don't want to say this match is over just yet, but it feels like it's going that way quickly.
Well, the real test is even yet to come. SK Gaming, if they do win a round, they're really going to have to win 2, because you're not going to be breaking the economy. A couple of the rounds have been close, you know, and the CT side is expensive, but they've got plenty enough money to support another buy.
That's it, yeah.
They're in danger of getting reset on the T side, and it'll be even easier for Tempo Storm to storm forward.
It's just the way they lost that last round that for me is especially punishing, and maybe somewhat of a desperation aggressive round now from SK. They're like, screw this, we're playing slow, it's not working, let's just charge in, but Lucas from heaven delivers the fatal blow into Freeze, and the smoke's actually helping the CTs relocate in there. It's going to be shielding their way across. This is hard for the terrorists. They've got no real estate, only a flashbang left to play with, so no HEs to flush out these locations. Asilian is finally going to come in and get himself a kill. There's a second one for him. Beautiful play. But still the CT's in a solid position as Phelps will spray down Modi from behind, lands the headshot, spots the second player, but Magic's is there. The bodyguard comes in. 2-on-2 now, bomb dropped.
Well, that's going to be the hard part. There was only one SK Gaming member that was pushed up onto the site to get the bomb down. The others were already, you know, trying to secure the post-plant situations. That is important in the outer yard of Train, but now they're in such a tough spot, and it's Showtime that'll come away with both, and that's going to be 9-0. Showtime grabbing 3 kills on the round, and this one, Henny wasn't even needed. Henny also yet to die. He's 9-0.
Yeah, you can see what that means to his economy. He's even dropped weapons absolutely fine. Freeze 2-9. Map like Train, he's had 2 or 3 ops now. Surely, you got to be doing better than that. Asilian also picked up 2 kills in that last round. Before then, he was 1 for 9. Yeah. So it just goes to show how much SK Gaming are struggling to even pick up kills at this point. There hasn't been a great deal of close rounds. The last one really is one of the closest ones we've seen. We've seen a 2v1 clutch. Other than that, though, it's been pretty much a battering performance from Tempo Storm.
And SK Gaming finding themselves, as you often do on the T side when you've lost this many rounds in a row on a buy into forced buy rotation, pretty much, just because of the cheaper weaponry and that max bonus. So we have the Tech 9s, a bit of utility in the smoke grenades, and Pimp seems to like this no head armor UMP. It's the second time we've seen him purchase that up.
The thing is, for a lot of teams as well that have quite static AWPers, you're thinking, okay, the CT side, you can punish really hard. Henny's a guy that can do it just as well on the T side. That's the terrifying thing right now for SK Gaming. If he's a static AWP, you're thinking, okay, when we shift it up, we can pretty much starve him out of the frags, and that's not going to be the case. Either way, SK Gaming are going to be looking to execute onto B. Again, this position from Lucas is so deadly. 2 kills down. The bomb could be getting planted in amongst the smoke. Indeed, it will, but really doesn't make any difference whatsoever. As the CT's looking to retake, and it should be coming into fruition very comfortably. SK Gaming with some last-second heroics from Freeze's UMP, but 3 players to find, and he will go down. 10-0 for Tempo Storm. And that bomb plant really, in the grand scheme of things, with full round loss bonus, just means nothing.
And the smokes that SK threw might have been their own worst enemies on that round, with Lucas being up on top of the little checkpoint or security hut, whatever you want to call it, in the Z connector, seeing right over them, basically a one-way. He killed 2 people with that Silence M4. They had no idea where he was. Then he underhands an aid onto Asilian, who's planting. He's done 250 damage in the round already, ends up finding another kill. So he was on for 300 to 350 damage by himself in that round. And SK Gaming, I think they went for that adder take because that's where they were almost successful in the previous round. But it did not work there. They will have a full buy going into round 11.
This was SK's choice of map.
Yeah, let's...
How brutal.
Let's not talk about that for the SK fans out there.
Next up's Cobblestone. And SK are decent on cobblestone, but the way Tempo Storm have been kicking off this map so far, I don't know, man. It's looking rough. That being said, if SK can, by some miracle, drag us back to a 10-5 sort of scoreline, win the pistol, they're back in this game, but that's a lot of maybes, ifs, and buts, a lot of hurdles to navigate over. And it has to start right here, right now. Can they finally get themselves on the scoreboard? Flash through from Freeze. Does connect on 2 players, but it's a flashbang that doesn't get followed up on.
Yeah.
The CTs don't have to move. They don't have to do anything there. They can just stay in their position. They are safe.
Freeze is continuing to do this jump spotting off the pallet onto Phelps. Like, I feel at a certain point, Phelps might hit the shot. Or maybe he's trying to draw the attention of Henny, but that's not even the case, right? Maybe he wants to take Henny off of the Z connector, or sorry, Ivy, but there's no presence there from SK Gaming, and Freeze will finally do it. And he does get a little bit curious, tries to set up at the angle. Freeze will take his head off, as Phelps is going to push up and get aggressive now onto the outer yard. But the smoke starting to come over into this inner bomb site. Molotovs as well. Showtime by the coil going unchecked. Finally, it's Asilian trading it out from above. Bolts back here on the red train will bring down Asilian. That'll drop the bomb. He gets pimped too. He's trying to push up the fuel tanker, but Bolts from inside. He has just been too good for SK Gaming.
He's been godlike on this B side, time and time again, picking himself up 2 or 3 frags. There's his third. Landing their headshot onto Modi. Did get the bomb plant just beforehand. This is the moment where Freeze could step up huge. First frag goes down. Again, you'd like a Molotov in this kind of situation. And he gets picked off from Lucas, 11-0.
Yeah, and you see Freeze coming off the upper catwalk. He can't be scoped in. There's so many angles that they could be at, so he's got to take a look, and it's a player off the back of the bomb train that just shoots him down before he can even react. Hit 2 shots, but it's still not enough. It's 11-0 right now, and I was kind of thinking, all right, 10-0, you know, it's train. Maybe SK Gaming just do put together 5 rounds, and suddenly you forget about how disastrous this first half was, but still 11-0, and I think we were looking at some stats there for Henny, as they are impressive right now. 10-1. Bolts, though, 15-7. He's died more, but he's seeing a lot of action there in the inner sight.
Often he's the lone bead defender, and you're seeing the power of unpredictability in Counter-Strike. He's used multiple different angles, both high up on the catwalk, low, close. Showtime's also used the coils. And SK Gaming, when they push into the site, they can't take anything for granted. There is nothing that's predictable whatsoever about how Tempo Storm are playing this. Now, the same couldn't be said for SK Gaming.
Oh, and Showtime, we've seen it in rounds previous. He got aggressive there in the upper hallways at inner, and he actually got the kill onto Madi. So that's a big first kill and a big informational play for the CT side of Tempo Storm. And they're still being kept at bay. Actually, Henny pushing too far forward on the green train. Didn't realize that Asilian had already got out onto the blue train.
A decent trade back. But again, can SK Gaming push through? Can they finally stomp down Tempo Storm? Bolts
saving the day.
This time, fast rotating over to the A site, so he's doing the work. He's been picked off though. Freeze with 2 kills. That leaves Phelps in such a bad position. That incendiary's going to keep him okay for now. First kill goes down, has to reload, but he doesn't get pushed from Magix. Finally gets that kill, but that was so sketchy. Showtime in the meanwhile, pushing round the back. He is going to get the free drop, but actually misses the spray initially. So now they know where he is, and that flashbang is definitely going to give his position away. 30 seconds, though, and the bomb is starting to move towards B, so this could effectively be 2 1v1s, and the first headshot has landed. It's all on Freeze. He's picked up 2 kills this round. Can he go for a third?
And Tempo Storm is just so much quicker to get these kills. Every time they see it instantly. Doesn't matter the range or the circumstance. There were like 2 bullets in that AK there for Phelps as he was stuck back there on green. Hits that shot instantaneously, almost got the second. And now it comes down to the one-on-one. This could get old fast, but we'll say it's Showtime for Showtime to try to keep the dream alive. Or if you're SK, the nightmare.
That molly actually is going to help Freeze more so than Showtime because it buys him enough time to actually relocate if he decides he's going to peek out and Freeze is going to get the clutch. SK Gaming, they've looked dead so far on this map, but finally we have some life. Finally we have something to get hype about. Freeze, very well played, but can they keep this going forward, or is it a one-hit wonder?
Yeah, and 3 kills on the round. I believe he got the first 2 and some of that confusion on the outer site. We were kind of on board with the Tempo Storm players, which honestly makes sense based on how this game was going, but Freeze does come away with those shots and then winning that 1 versus 1. Finally, we could see some life. Can he chain this together here in round 13, or will it really be the unlucky 13 for them where they get reset and Tempo Storm just finish off the half?
Well, 11-4 would definitely be doable. I would still say Tempo Storm, definitely the driver's seat, obviously. At least 11-4 gives them a glimmer of hope, SK. But can they get it done? If they lose this, the round loss is reset completely. And he'll be up the creek without a paddle. Henny, however, is going to have a quick peek. Spots the player, can't get the frag converted. Did tag Magix, though. He's down to 25. And meanwhile, Lucas, you mentioned it, the auto sniper. There we go. Freeze gets headshotted down.
I would say Chickstig, Battle Scarred, Scar 20s. That one took me a while to piece together, but I think it was worth it. As Phelps up here on the blue train did just spot Madi as he was falling back in the ladder room. And of course, we've got Showtime there on the inner site by himself, playing on Pop Dog, and it looks like he might be the one to be tested first. It's Madi, I think, yeah, the one maintaining control here. Showtime's actually on top of it. And he's ready with that incendiary. The second something is telegraphed over on that B bomb site, he's going to drop that incendiary. And Phelps is getting aggressive. He's making that play for information in middle, and not only will he get that, he kills Pimp. And immediately after that, Henny finds 2 with that op from the Z connector. Showtime also killed Madi, who was that one player inside for SK Gaming.
Yeah, he gets the kill, and he also heard the drop as well from Pop Dog. So that's so much information gathered, and as soon as the first kill comes in, I mean, that was pretty much the noose around SK Gaming's neck, and you can see now, round loss, reset, they have very little money to play with. They are going to eco this round, playing for potentially just 2 rounds. That is rough at best. Tempo Storm are looking absolutely on fire right now.
That they are, or it could maybe be the reverse, right? SK Gaming just
haven't shown up.
They have been slow to get some of these kills, even when you'd think they'd have the advantage, positional advantage on these frags. It's Tempo Storm just hitting headshots instantly. Showtime will peek up into the Glocks. He finds one, he drops that Molotov, daring them to push through without the armor. Bolts on the red train, taking down Asilian, and the rest of SK weren't quite convinced it was time to go. They try to look out to the ladder room, but Phelps is in there. He'll bring down Monty. Pimp with that P250 wing shot. Bolts will take him down instantly, and Showtime finishing it off there on the stairs. He grabs Freeze.
A bit demoralizing, because I came into this game thinking, okay, it's going to be really close. I think Thorin also predicted like 16-13. I would have gone definitely alongside that. I was right behind him, but it's been anything but close so far. It's hard to get hype about this match. I mean, maybe SK Gaming have that age-old problem that a lot of teams do, like some Envious, for example, that just start slow and they gradually get stronger and stronger as the tournament goes on. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping this isn't as good as we're going to see from SK Gaming. But here comes the bite. SK playing in the last round to try and double their amount, which is a very sad state of affairs. Looking for the set play onto the A site. Let's see if they can force their way through.
Well, this is the execute to the outer yard that's got them basically the closest in some of the rounds. I don't think they converted either of those. They just won the one with Freeze opping and picking up 3 kills. But oh, that flash from Henny is so good. He's got to take a little bit of time to arm that CZ, trying to pre-fire the corner. It's Bolts who will save the day. He's going to grab 2. Lucas gets one on the Freeze. Asilian finding 2. He has been pretty good at getting the entries and the confusion on the outside. It's the second time Asilian's got 2 kills. But it may still not be enough, and
that's a very punishing map as well. If you have any chinks in your armor on the CT side, they are going to get exploited. You better believe it. So
yeah,
SK are going to have their defense locked down.
That might be really rough, right? If Train just finishes off, it's a clean finish here for Tempo Storm. You go over to Cobble, and SK Gaming have to tackle that CT side first. Like, they might already be a bit tilted, maybe on edge because of what's happened here on Train. Go into the CT side of Cobble, they could just get eviscerated.
Yep.
Especially on B, that's pretty much where it always goes down.
Drop zone, always a key, integral part of Cobblestone, and if you don't have your crossfire set down, if you don't have that cohesion there, you are going to get exploited. As we're just about to jump into the second half of Train, ladies and gents, 14-1 if you've just joined us. It's been very one-sided. There's been a couple of 2v2, 1v1 scenarios, but by and large, this has been a shutout performance from Tempo Storm. However, they are now on the T side, SK Gaming. This would be one hell of a comeback if they pulled this off. Again, just Magix with the utility under his belt. Everyone else, USPs and Kevlars. Here comes the push. Muddy, and he's going to have to back away. 2 players pushing his location. Hasn't landed anything just yet. Freeze will land the headshot, though, so 1-for-1 trade. Make that a 2-for-1, though, in favor of Tempo Storm. And he's hungry for more kills. He's going to get put down, though. Tempo Storm now have conceded the man advantage, and it's all on Henny. He's going to be pushing himself in, and there's Muddy with 2 headshots. Just what they were looking for, but again, is it just a drop in the ocean? Is it too little too late for SK?
Yeah, it is going into the outer yard against the CT pistols. They always just so much of an advantage, you know, one tap at any range pretty much. And you actually notice Tempo Storm were exploiting the crap out of CSGO is how I'll say it. Every single corner they were running by, they were jumping and peeking it because everyone's pre-aiming head level with that USP. If you're jumping, it's gonna be so much harder to get that one tap. You jump, you close the distance, make that space, and then you get in with the Glock, and it becomes personal. That's where the Glock is best.
So just with the one UMP, it makes sense for SK typically want the SMGs for the longer game, and they simply don't have the longer game to go into. The flash off the E-box lands in the face of SK, but it does exactly the same for Tempo Storm. They're going to be trying to get that bomb planted. It's going to get taken away from them, though. All on Phelps, looking to pick up the fraggers as they go through smoke, but instead, SK will pick up that round convincingly so. And that was, of course, Tempo Storm conceding their third round.
So the big difference here with how the CT pistol started off, right? Both teams won the CT pistol, but it was SK Gaming. You thought it would have started great because they planted the bomb on their pistol, so they got out to the earlier rifle, but not the same thing here for Tempo Storm. They'll have to wait one more round before bringing out the rifles, which means SK Gaming can try to survive here, keeping at least 4 people alive they want to. When you're making comebacks of this magnitude, it's the CT economy that's the most important. And Pimp coming away with 2 kills, so maybe make it a third if he can pull that Deagle out. He does, and it'll be Magicsploit to keep him alive. So everyone lives. It's very important for SK Gaming.
Yep, important for the longer game if they want to keep themselves moving forward, because of course, not just the fact that they are trailing by 10 rounds, but if they're losing 3 or 4 players in consecutive rounds, then you start to get into pistol buys, you start to get into Mag 7 from ass territory. You want to keep as far away from that as possible, as you mentioned before, the economy. But Tempo Storm, easy for them to tap out in the previous round. They've got such a huge round buffer. This now affords them the open hands of Henny, and he has a decent spawn as well to quick peek B if he so chooses, which looks likely here. In fact, he's going to go down to Pop Dog instead. He's going to be greeted by a smoke.
He doesn't care. He's going to pop flash right through that. It was quite effective. It pushed 2 players back. He gets Magicsploit off of the train. Will they expect someone up in CT Sky? Yes, the call has been made. He's been shot up. Pip's going to push and get aggressive, but Henny, hearing those steps, will peek out to bring down Freeze. It's a 2-on-2 as the Cillian will bring down Henny. And he's going to post up there on the bomb train. Monty's still back. I should know where both players are. Going up on red for some information, and that's going to be Phelps. That will be the last thing he sees looking over the ladder. And now only Bolts. AK in hand. He has kind of been the player of the match so far, but it's a Cillian where, you know, he got a couple double entries on that T side, and he's been doing well on the start of the CT half. Maybe look to him as he's 14-15 now. Yeah,
picked up 3 kills in that last round as well, so pretty instrumental. This is where, as I mentioned earlier, that Henny can get the work done on the T side as well. 2 kills in that round. Here comes the very early auto sniper from a Cillian. So obviously trying to lock this CT side down as soon as possible. Tempo Storm with upgraded pistols to have committed quite a bit into this round, considering their economy wasn't fantastic going into this, but they'll be looking for that bomb plant.
Yeah, I think I actually like the early Scar 20. It's one of the most demoralizing guns in the game. You just get mowed down by this thing, and you know that Tempo Storm, they didn't have a lot of utility on their first rifle, because that's kind of the nature of it. They bought light here, so they should have enough utility to deal with it if it becomes a threat, as it may. They seem to be gearing up for an inner take, and that's exactly where Freeze is. I think he landed a shot, actually might have even hit them both, and now the auto sniper coming into an effect. Cillian brings down Showtime, spots a man on the upper catwalk, does find Bolts. Magicsploit also getting involved in the fun. The important thing here is that Tempo Storm did manage to get the bomb down, though.
They did, which is exactly what they set out for in this round, and it has delivered. And yeah, the auto sniper in this context definitely makes a lot of sense, because you're backed against the wall. You have to make this CT side as strong as possible right here, right now. So with that bomb plant, there's going to be the AKs in as well. The best buy we've seen from Tempo Storm thus far. Everyone on a full buy with a healthy dosage of grenades. SK Gaming themselves had a solid buy up. So these are the kind of rounds where the pressure is on for SK. Oh, they're going to bounce back. This is the issue, though. When you go in 14-1 at halftime, you just leave yourself no leeway at all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, looking good here. Imagine it'd be a very different story if it was any little bit closer of a first half for SK. But I wonder what Tempo Storm will do. I'd expect them to move out, take it slow, grab some early map control. They know that there's an op, and they know that there's a Scar 20. They got that information as they stormed inner on the last round, so they can probably just take the control as they've done, and then throw down and execute, and make sure it's a lot harder for a Cillian or Freeze to hit those shots.
And right now, Cillian with the aforementioned auto sniper by himself on B. So if the execute came down onto the B site, he may be a bit susceptible to getting charged down. That's always going to be a worry in the back of the head of SK Gaming. They do have a player that's floating around connector though, so he can easily wrap himself through back onto the B site if needs be. That first kill is massive. That alleviates so much pressure from Freeze.
Yeah, brought down Bolts. Bolts was looking for that information on the T side. If anyone was playing Ivy, and he found it in the form of an op bullet. Cillian still wanting to be tested here on that inner site. Just build up his personal momentum with that Scar 20. And what utility do we have left for Tempo Storm? We've got 3 Molotovs, 2 smokes, and plenty of flashes. So they can still try to do something, but it will be difficult as they are man down with only about 20 odd seconds to go.
Time itself is an enemy right now of Tempo Storm, and well, to make matters worse, they've just lost 2 players. Henny does come back with 2 of his own though, keeping the dream alive, but Moddy's in such a good position. He should get the drop. There's the first one. And that leaves Showtime very vulnerable. He's trying to get the bomb plant down. He's not going to get it. It must have been milliseconds away. But SK have held on for yet another round. So that's 6 consecutive CT rounds now. Economy booming. Tempo Storm though, round loss coming in. They're going to be fine for this buy. However, Henny doesn't have an AWP this time.
Yeah, and honestly, that bomb going down could have made that difference. The extra money coming in from a plant, and it had to have been so close. And Henny hitting actually 2 really nice op shots there just wasn't enough, as you mentioned. I think, was it Madi or Cillian that was in that great position, sneaking up through the trains?
Madi, yeah.
Yeah.
The last 2 kills.
And Madi again got it. Oh no, it's gonna backfire. That smoke, there was a gap. He was hoping to look through it, but it's Bolts instead that will just pre-aim and pre-fire it. I can only imagine as that kill was so quickly. So early man advantage now for Tempo Storm. How will SK adapt?
Herein lays the issue with that 41 halftime scoreline. They look solid on their CT side so far, but you make one mistake, one lapse in concentration, one huge play from Tempo Storm, and it all comes crashing down. This round, of course, far from over. 2 long-range rifles in place. Henny gets flashed out. The push into T-main did come in, and SK may feel a little bit pressured into looking for the information and trying to equalize the odds, and Pimp's done just that. Henny's dead. Only a smoke and a molly in play as well for Tempo Storm. It's going to be very difficult for them to bust out onto this site, especially judging from the positions of SK. Pimp was there, but meanwhile, the Ivy push comes in, completely catches SK unawares. And that play right there could be the path to success and glory. Pimp goes down next, all on the ceiling with the auto sniper. Not the greatest weapon to retake sites with. Does a lot of damage to Lucas, but his position is now known. You better believe that crossfire is in play from Tempo Storm.
Here comes out the Scar 20. That'll bring down Bolts, but 2 people to contend with, and of course that bomb that just keeps on beeping. Showtime will find the kill. And I thought Pimp, right, man down, he's doing the right thing. Backs against the wall, he tries to make that aggressive play into T-Con, and it works out. He kills Henny just like that. And Henny had to take the fight to get control of T-Con back because that was pretty much contingent on running the strategy in the split to the outer yard. I thought Pimp wins the round with that kill, but then SK Gaming, they just seem to have forgot about Ivy. Yeah. Those people flew out Ivy and killed everybody.
And that was all like the dominoes falling down from Moddy's and original death right at the beginning of the round. If Moddy's still alive there, he can hold Ivy. That setup's perfect. As you say though, they maybe rolled the dice, assumed that Ivy wouldn't get pushed. They rolled Snake Eyes. And now
the smoke he throws every round has a massive gap on the right side. Yeah. I don't know if the gap is intended or he's just missing the smoke, but that's what cost him. And you can see Bolts looking through that gap right now. That's how he went down in the last round.
Good news for SK. There isn't much of it. Is it Tempo Storm? Don't have a fantastic buy, not probably as good as they're expecting. Just a Tech 9 in the hands of Henny. So SK coming into this actually have the better equipment value and the better weapons overall. Cillian back down to an M4, of course. Couldn't afford the auto sniper. A decent setup, but again, Ivy's going to get aggressed on. More of a passive play from SK Gaming, learning from those previous mistakes. The problem now is, though, that if they charge out with these flashbangs and Moddy isn't up to the task, it could come crumbling down once again.
They actually threw a smoke. Tempo Storm did on the upper catwalk of the inner site. I think tried to keep the players pinned on there. However, only a Cillian remains. It was Freeze who rotated out, who's been killed by Showtime. Magic's boy to bring down Lucas, and it's Phelps coming out of Ivy. Thought he was going to have the great timing, but it was Madi who was in there behind him. Shoots him in the back, and another round for SK Gaming. They won't lose their economy that quickly, but it's still Tempo Storm with plenty of match points to work with.
You can start to see some more frags coming up for SK Gaming, of course, as they are picking up the rounds. Asilian has really stood up on this CT side. Also Freeze, one of the bottom fraggers when it came to T side, has definitely stepped up. But again, it's that whole concept of he's more of a static AWP, that's the CT side that will really show his capabilities to the fullest. And Tempo Storm onto an eco, just a couple of flashbangs. Again, the quest, I suppose, is to get that bomb planted. There's not much else they're going to get out of this round. They do have a Deagle, though, in the hands of Bolts, and this is a terrifying prospect to these kind of rounds. You have to be so careful. Incendiary is going to keep him at bay, though, for now.
Oh, nade up top, a little bit of damage. Freeze completely blind, taking some Glock fire, but it's alright, it doesn't really hurt. It's like little mosquitoes at that range. Freeze will get one, Asilian down there, close and personal, finds Showtime, Pimp to take down Lucas, and it's Madi on the outside dealing with these other pesky Tempo Storm members. He finds Bolts, and actually Henny hitting a shot to the head, but doesn't do much as he's got the Glock, and Madi finishes him off.
15-9. SK Gaming have been creeping their way back up to a respectable scoreline.
2 rounds on the T side of this entire match.
Super CT-sided, yeah. SK Gaming are going to be against 2 Galils this time.
It's time. It's the feels Galil man moment here for Tempo Storm.
You've been waiting to say that.
I have.
Just been waiting patiently.
But it never gets old. It's a good meme. It's a dank meme, I might say. A little bit of utility as well. We got the 4 smokes. Showtime with that 1 Molotov. Tempo Storm going to continue to take it slow, though, which really hasn't worked for either team, right?
Yeah, typically the aggression is what's been getting most of the work done. Obviously, one of the 2 T rounds we've seen was off a ridiculous single-handed performance from Freeze. It's going to be hard to rinse and repeat on that one. But Lucas has snaked his way up into B site. And this is going to keep a couple of the CTs interested right now. He is playing interference. They may assume that a couple more players are on the site right now, so it's important that Lucas stays alive for a little while longer. If he can take a player down with him, that would be massive. And somehow, some way, he is still alive. But the rest of his team aren't doing anything. Finally going to start to push, but right into the crosshairs of Pimp. One spray, it's good for him. Magix and Asilian both chime in for frags. That's gone horribly wrong again for Tempo Storm, who are struggling to finish off SK. The bomb has been dropped now. All on Phelps. First headshot has connected, 45 seconds. But he's used his one lonely flashbang. It's going to be a rough ask now. He's given his position away. Second kill comes down, and finally Freeze pulls the trigger. SK have got to double digits, which is a whole lot better than I thought they'd do on 14-1.
I mean, now you can say when you look at this later on paper, if it ends up being 16-10 or maybe even SK take this into OT, like it's obviously been competitive at this point. And we will see at the very end of that round that Scar 20 was picked back up, so it's something Asilian wants to keep doing. And he did eventually get the kill onto Lucas, who was just causing so much chaos on the inner side. I have no idea how that was working out. Thought for a second that Galil at long range might have made the difference in there. But you pointed out, like, no one was doing anything outside while Lucas was making that big distraction.
And when they finally did, it was just to the slaughter, really. So Tempo Storm back onto the Rico, flashbang in play. Asilian has this angle locked down with the auto sniper, though. As soon as Lucas peeks, he is a dead man. Or is he?
He's trying to bait that shot really hard, but the thing is, this gun is a semi-automatic, so baiting the shot doesn't really go that far. Pimp will clean up on Showtime and get his own full kill onto Bolts. It's Phelps, however, outside. Tech9 headshot onto Madi. Can he get out to pick up the rifle? He does get that M4A4 and even a smoke grenade, so they can try to use that. The problem is, the bomb is down on the inside, and that's well under the control of SK Gaming.
That's absolutely it. They've sent 2 of their 5 players off onto the A site. That's all well and good for you to get a frag, but the bomb is in no man's land. It's behind enemy lines now. And there's no hope, really, for Phelps and Henny to get anything done. I'm surprised they don't trade out the Tech9 into Henny's hands, so he at least has some more firepower here from the Glock. A very small misplay, but it could actually prove to be pretty important, because that Glock is going to do absolutely nothing here. The M4, meanwhile, in the hands of Phelps, is going to come good. Asilian's dead. And now, Henny has the auto sniper in his hands. That's going to be a bit of a worrying sign, but with 30 seconds left in the positions from SK Gaming, there's really no hope for Tempo Storm here.
Yeah, best thing they can do is get a couple more kills, try to limit the growth of that CT economy. And Freeze thought he was going to go down, but he will survive on 12 HP. The 5-7 pulls through.
Way too close for comfort, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And here, this could be interesting, right? Taking over that CT auto sniper, the Scar 20. And he's got it. And he's in the most classic saving or camp spot that Counter-Strike has ever seen. The dumpsters over there on train.
My only concern for him, though, with the auto sniper on the T side is it's a very static weapon. Like, you have to stay still to fire it off, right? And he's a very peak-centric AWP go back again, kind of old school AWPing before it had the change. So I'm very interested to see how he's going to decide to use this auto sniper now. If he's just going to literally stand in a smoke spot and just tap across and hope to get a bit fortunate. But I've got to say, SK, for all of the terrifying, horrendous T rounds we've seen, their CT side is definitely shaped up well. So it just makes you think if they started on the CT side, we could have a complete
yeah, it would have been the reverse. And everyone's stepping up together too, right? I mean, Asilian's doing a bit better. I think he's at 21 frags right now. But everyone, yeah, 21-18, everyone's pretty close. So they've been all stepping up together. And the same thing, Tempo Storm, they had a pretty tight scoreline between one another. They're all in the same place. They're just not getting kills as a team. So basically the exact same as the first half. And Tempo Storm will once again take it slow. They have no map control right now, though. Besides, of course, the area they're in, those upper halls.
Yeah, that's been given away for free, though. And there's Asilian. This is where the auto sniper from a T's perspective, I just can't really see it getting done unless SK makes some huge errors in judgment. The bomb has been planted, but still so many incendiaries on the side of SK. They had 4, and in fact, they still have 4 in their hands. They can just carpet bomb the site and then look to retake it. And Showtime will have to relocate, will have to budge off this. Now the bomb is planted, though, and he could get the auto sniper working, singing for him. He's down to 17. Phelps, meanwhile, hiding in the smoke. Here comes the carpet fire we were talking about before. Freeze throws the last of the incendiary grenades away. Phelps is trying to play this position to perfection, but he's going to go down, and now it's all on Bolts and Henny. They're hoping this was a fake. It's not the case.
Oh, so close.
And that Molly kills Freeze, but just a second too late. Here comes the timeout. Tempo Storm are like, okay, guys, like, seriously, what is going on with our C half?
What's actually a good point, though, right? Because SK Gaming didn't take a timeout in the first half at all.
I think that could have been to do with tilt as well, to be fair.
So showing maybe a bit more patience, saying, all right, we can figure this out. Let's just take this pause now, and let's talk about it.
They've got decent economy, so they can buy the next round. So they're calling this timeout. They're just trying to wrap their heads around the whole idea of, you know, whatever we've been going wrong, what can we do differently? To be completely honest with you, it's hard to really lock down on one particular aspect because both sides have had very strong CT halves. They've had the perfect positions, maybe a fast execute. We haven't really seen that too often.
That's what I would suggest, definitely.
Maybe onto A, try a fast execute. They're consistently getting the bomb down onto B, but that is an aspect of train that most T sides can get done. You know, you always see in these kind of ecos, you'll more often than not see a team throw a smoke or 2 out and then just get the bomb plant, and it's like, you know, free economy, so to speak. But that's not good enough because we're seeing that the CTs, the SK, are very competent and capable of retaking those sites afterwards. So it's worrying right now. After taking 14-1, Tempo Storm would have thought, okay, we've got our eyes set on Cobblestone now. Like, this map's done. That's how I felt, at least, but couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, I think the fast take is definitely the way to go. I mean, Ivy's going to be pre-smoked every round. We've seen Madi throwing that down, so maybe you don't even put anyone there. You just immediately set up. Don't worry about map control because you can set up so quickly right out of spawn, throw those smokes. Maybe don't even throw the smokes. Just come out with flashes and Molotovs to the back of green train so Madi can't get out of Ivy. Back a bomb train so someone's got to move. Old bomb train as well so someone can sit there. Just get that bomb down and play the post plants. And that's honestly what, when the rounds were the closest, when SK Gaming went a little quicker. Just the confusion on the outside site that allowed Freeze to get those 3 op kills. That was their one round that they won. Yeah,
we saw quite a lot of real estate picked up onto the B site when they actually went for the flash without the smokes behind it. So they went for the flashbang, and the idea is, again, from a CT's perspective, you're waiting for the smokes to land, and you're like, okay, this is a B execute.
Well,
by pushing
that would have
a bit
worked
earlier. Yeah, it did
if Freeze could hit any shots on the inner bomb site where they used it there.
Because that's when he missed 3 or 4 shots on towards connector, right? So if he connects any of those, then they could have won that round. We haven't really seen that so far from Tempo Storm, so maybe that's an idea they could be mulling over right now. As you can see, we are still in the pause time.
Yeah, they get 5 minutes, so.
I just realized they can't see the left screen, can they? That's just for us.
Yes.
We're currently looking at the players on our left screen. Anyway.
And the people here can see them, of course, as I got to say, the booths here at Gfinity are sick. Some of the best I've seen in all of eSports.
It's a really cool layout, actually. Like, if you're in London, I'd highly recommend coming down to Gfinity. It's really cool. We're in a cinema. It's a very intimate setting, very comfortable.
Very easy to get around to here in Europe with, you know, the public transport and stuff. It's quite nice.
The underground is a bit of a nightmare, to be fair.
Well, better than none at all.
That's true.
You can't even go underground where I live because it's all water at that point down there in Florida.
So here we go, hopefully unpaused very, very shortly. So look at this buy up. So Auto Sniper has came in from Henny. In fact, he saved this, didn't he? So I'm going to just go ahead and retract that statement. He saved the Auto Sniper. 4 AKs coming into play. Auto Sniper again for Cillian, as we've seen consistently. And the AWP, of course, for Freeze.
I'll give you a pass on that one since they had the timeout after the save.
Yeah.
You can't forget.
I have Goldfish memory, so
maybe
like
he's got the codes to buy the Scar 20 on the T side.
Anything from like 20 seconds ago, and I've already forgot pretty much.
And it's exactly what we suggested, right? Here's the Molotovs flash as a quick smoke to block off Sandwich, and they're just going to fly out, and this is going to be a confusion, right? Sometimes this can just be like rolling the dice. Pimp's playing on the back of the red train. He takes out Phelps, but it's Lucas who finds 2. Oh, and Madi was going for the wraparound, but it's Bolts to save the day, and then Henny with that Scar 20 that he saved. And what do you know? I honestly forgot that they were on match point, and that's it. One quick outer take. You take a pause. I have no idea why SK Gaming didn't take a pause in the first half.